Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe and my lion-bear hybrid. And today I'm going to show you stretches and exercises for mid-back pain. So let's get started.
Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert.
So for stretches and exercises for the mid-back, I always like with any program starting off with the stretches. So you can stretch out the muscles, lengthen the muscles, and then strengthen them in that lengthened position afterwards. So the first one is going to be a rhomboid stretch, and that's kind of the muscles that pull your shoulder blades together in the back area. They kind of pull them back towards the spine, and that's that mid-back area. So you want to stretch those muscles out with a rhomboid stretch. The one I'm going to do, you can modify it a little bit. If you put your feet out like this, if this is too uncomfortable, you can do it in a seated position, but I feel like this gives you the best stretch for those rhomboids. So we call this a long sit in therapy, just with your legs out in front of you, but I know that this is sometimes not doable for some people or uncomfortable, especially if you have some hip issues. So then you're just going to put your arms out in front of you, clasp your hands, and so it's going to be kind of a combination move. You're going to punch your hands forward, tuck in your chin, and arch your back backwards. So you're kind of making a C motion with your body. So I'm punching forward, tucking in, and arching. And so I can really feel that stretch in that mid to upper back area where those rhomboids are. So this is a great stretch. This stretch you want to hold for 30 seconds and then do that 3 times to get that nice full stretch in there. So the next one is going to be what I call a thoracic side bend, but it's not the traditional side bend that people think about where you're going down. And that's what makes this important to do the right technique, or you're not going to really feel it in your thoracic or that mid-back spine. So just take your hands and kind of place them behind your head so your elbows are a little bit higher. So with the side bend for the thoracic area, it's not that side bend, traditional side bend, because I'm going to feel that in the lower side of my back area. We want to feel it up in that thoracic area. So instead of crunching down, I'm lifting my elbow up towards the ceiling. You can see I'm even using my eyes to kind of look up at the ceiling because that helps keep my spine straight, but I'm lengthening up. So if you can see the difference, I'm not crunching down and shortening my spine. I'm lifting my elbow up and lengthening it. So again, this would be a 30-second stretch if you can hold it for 30 seconds. Sometimes this one's a little bit harder for people to hold. So you could do more of a 20-second stretch and then work your way up to that 30 seconds, but it would be the same thing. So you're holding it for 30 seconds and then you're going to do 3 on each side. So the next one is just going to then be a thoracic rotation. So it's still the same concept where you're not necessarily crunching your body down, you're doing a rotation with that movement. So hands still kind of up behind your head, elbows starting in that upward position, and then you're just going to take your opposite, your elbow to the opposite knee, but you're not going down to try and touch it. You're just kind of rotating. See, I'm rotating more in the middle of my spine. So I'm not crunching down and trying to touch it here. I'm rotating almost where then I'm kind of trying to look up towards the ceiling with my body. So this would be the same thing, holding it for 30 seconds and then rotating and then getting that. So again, you're not trying to touch your elbow to your knee, you're just rotating in that direction. And if you want to follow along with me in a real-time video, I have a whole lot of real-time videos where I do the whole routine, and you can check those out up there. So let's go ahead into the exercises now. So with the exercises, we're going to go back into working those rhomboid areas a little bit. There's other muscles there that we'll be working, but the rhomboids to me are some of the most important ones in the mid-back. So with this one, as simple as it is, you're just holding your hands out in front of you, and then you're just going to open up like a T. So you can be about 90 degrees at your shoulder. It can be a little lower, a little higher. Lower is sometimes a little more comfortable if this is an uncomfortable position. And all you're doing is opening up like a T. But while I'm opening, I'm not just bringing my arms out, I'm trying to squeeze those shoulder blades together. So I'm imagining someone's hand is on my spine. I'm trying to squeeze those shoulder blades into that person's hand. So I'm just squeezing back. Imagine that someone's hand is there and you're squeezing it when you come back, and then coming back into that position. So nice squeeze there and then coming back. So the next two exercises, if you have a resistive band, definitely use a resistive band, but you don't have to. You can do the motions and still get the exercise. But if you're really working on strengthening, resistive bands are my favorite to do strengthening. So this next one is called a row. I like to wrap it around my feet just because then you don't have to find somewhere to anchor the band, but you can anchor it in a door or a doorknob, or if you have a hook on a wall somewhere, like if you do these often, you can do it standing, or again, you can put your legs out into that long sitting position where we did the stretch in the beginning to get a different angle a little bit of the row. But this works for me, it's easy to do, so no big deal. With the rows, the biggest thing is to make sure that you're not squeezing up your shoulders, trying to touch your shoulders through your ears. Really make sure those shoulders are relaxed because we want to work those mid-back muscles there. Thumbs are in the upward position. They don't have to be up, but you want them turned up, not down like this. This just kind of opens up those shoulders so you don't irritate your shoulders while you're working on your back. Keep your elbows pretty close to you and then just gently pull back like you're rowing a boat and squeeze those shoulder blades together while you're doing it. So it's not this motion, this is working those biceps. We want to work the muscles in the back. So really pulling back and getting that squeeze. But again, don't come up like this. Make sure everything's nice and relaxed and you're pulling and getting that nice squeeze in there. The next one is going to be bear hugs. And you know Bear, he likes to give hugs and kisses. So again, you don't have to do this with a band, but I do feel like it gives you some good resistance. So wrapping it around you, still the thumbs in that upward position. So imagine you're going to give someone a bear hug. When you go out, you have to go around the person and then come back in to give them a nice big hug. And then when you're coming back, you have to come out again and then bend those elbows so you don't hit them. Now with the band, I'm a little bit higher, but starting off, you might want to go a little bit lower because it's usually a little more comfortable. So here, my elbows are bent, out and around, big push out, and then coming back in, bending those elbows again. And so that's the bear hug. So there you have it. Those are my stretches and exercises for mid-back pain. I know! If you'd like to check out some more videos, check over here and don't forget to subscribe by clicking down there. And remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.